Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning edition of Hot Mic off and rolling. I'm done ranting and raving here. The Jets season's already done, didn't even start, but we'll worry about that later on in the show. I'm really pumped for our next guest. We've had him on the show before. We're getting ready for the start of, obviously, we've got college football camps going. We saw NFL training camps are underway. We're not that far away from high school. North Dakota, I believe we're about 10 days away. Minnesota, just a little bit longer than that, which there's going to be a great another high school season in the state of Minnesota. With we're keeping our eyes, obviously, what Moorhead is doing. Team down by the cities, which we focused on before, that shares the nickname of North Dakota State, the Buffalo Bison. We've routinely had guys come from Buffalo up to NDSU. We know Ryan Babbitts, who's here on campus. We had Ryan on the show about a month and a half ago after he won another state championship. Did that in the shot put or the discus? I can't remember. That's on top of him being an unbelievable wrestler and football player. He's coached by Jackson Litterer, who joins us this morning. We've had Jackson on the show before. The intriguing part about this is that Coach Litterer also coached another Bison recruit at another school in Brody Club, who's also here at NDSU. It's great to see you, bud. How you been?
Hey, been great. Thanks for having me back, and excited to talk some football. And it's like my favorite time of year, getting ramped right back up.
It's the calm before the storm, as we like to call it. You shared a letter on social media you got from Brody, which we're going to show the letter here in a second. But first, the impact of that. You're in the submarine. You're getting ready for it. When you get something like that from a former player, what does that mean to you?
It's pretty much everything. I honestly goosebumps right now, and I hope I don't get too emotional. That happens sometimes, but it's the impact and the influence that you don't always know you're having in the moment when you're working with kids and just in general. And to me, it's why you coach and why you teach is for those type of opportunities to later on hear that, hey, all the things that you were trying to teach them when they're young and they're kind of knuckleheads, because I remember being the young knucklehead myself. You try to hold kids accountable to certain things. You try to help them see a perspective that's a little bit more, mature or wise, whatever that is, just like I had coaches and teachers and parents trying to help me with. And then to hear back from a kid, I haven't seen Brody and it's been a handful of years now since moving up to Buffalo. But that impact and that influencer was really there, and he's using it now at the next level. It was brought me to tears is what it did. I was at the middle of our own weight room session, and I get this letter and I open it up, and then it reminded me, whether it's a kid that's going to go play Division I football or it's somebody that's just a part of your own team or at your school coming into the weight room, it inspired me to get my butt moving, coaching again, and just trying to work with all these kids that are just trying to become better versions of themselves. And that's what I love about teaching and coaching is those opportunities.
So you were coaching at Clear Creek Amana High School in Iowa before you got the Buffalo job, and that's where you met Brody, which is just amazing because you mentioned this almost in passing when we had you on last June when Ryan committed, and I filed it away, and then you here's the letter that Brody sent you, and it's just that again I'm reminded how small the world is when instances like this.
Yeah, 100%. And I knew Brody as a sixth grader. That's actually kind of my first introduction really to getting to know Brody in my sixth grade math class. Wow. The letters, it's kind of funny, actually. He said we did 15% math and 75% life lessons. That only adds up to 90%. I texted him after that, by the way. So we must have spent a little bit too much time on the life lessons and not enough on the math or Brody, I texted his dad too. Brandon, head basketball coach at CCA, got to know him, great friends of mine. He said maybe that 10% was just for Brody and he wasn't going to share it with anybody else. So anyways, it was just kind of a funny thing, but yeah, just how cool to have two former players of mine, and Wyatt Osterbauer over there at NDSU as well right now. And to be in a program that I think really highly of. I think NDSU, they do things the right way, in my opinion. The way they recruit kids, the way they work with us high school coaches, they keep everybody in the loop. They're very transparent. like what more could we want for our kids than to go to a place that's going to continue to help hold them accountable and successful, or help them be successful. And they're going to be much better husbands and dads and the things that really matter. Football's great, but there's bigger responsibilities in life that are going to come their way here in a little bit. And just, I'm tickled that they're all together. It's really cool.
You get a letter like that, Jackson. What's that do for you? Does that renew what you're doing, or give you a sense, like maybe in a time where, especially now, it's the slog before you get going, like, man, this is what you do it for?
Yeah, I 100% think so. And I think I got to talk to my wife when I came home, and just coaching football in general and really all sports. But I would just say football is kind of a beast of its own. It takes a lot of time. I'm at the weight room every single day, 6 a.m. With our kids, and I'm here till 10. And I'm not saying that as like, wow, I deserve a trophy or a medal, but it's really like, hey, if you want your school, you want your teams to be successful, it takes that. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes doing a little bit more than maybe what you're paid to do, right? Like how much you're actually paid to, people get caught in that stuff where it's like impact. To me, this is like my calling. It's something that I feel like I'm called to serve in. And then you get rewarded like that. You could not put a dollar amount on getting a letter like that. Yeah. And that's something I'll have stowed away on those rainy days, those hard days. Why am I doing this? We all go through that. You pull out a letter like that, what a great reminder. And like I said, yeah, it kind of put a spark under my butt, and it was, had me fired up for the rest of the week. It definitely made my day.
Did you reach out to Brody after you got it?
Oh yeah, right away. And just, thanked him bottom of my heart of just like, wow, like he certainly didn't need to do that. And especially in a day and age, everything's done by text,
right?
It's easy just to text the guy that, or just, a Snapchat or whatever. I don't have Snapchat, but anyways, like that's kind of the world. Then you get a kid, hey, I want to sit down. I want to take pen to paper. I'm going to mail this to you. It's just kind of a lost art, and meant a lot to an old coach, more than he'll ever know.
Mentioned we had Ryan on the show, Jackson, shortly after he won another state championship at the state track meet to wrap up what's been an unbelievable year. Now both these guys are teammates that you coached at one time. It's amazing that's the case. Describe the two guys that Bison fans are going to get to know, that they're now here with their first fall camp just about a week away now.
Yeah. Well, I strolled into the weight room this morning about 5:50, and all of a sudden I see a sight for sore eyes. Ryan Babbitts is sitting in the weight room with his younger brother, who is about to do his lift. Ryan's back for a few days, 309 pounds, whatever he said he is right now. Just a mammoth. But both kids, and I'm going to tell you this, it all starts going back with who raised them, their families, their parents, their kids, that they know this, but certainly like they are so fortunate to come from where they came from a family side of things. And I would also say from a school district and just from a part of the country where they were raised. That's just my humble take on that, is they've had a lot of people in their village that helped grow them, but they're two kids that are incredibly motivated. They're disciplined. They are, they're who you want. I mean, I sit here like, I hope my kids grow up to be kind of like those guys. And if that happens, I'll be a really proud dad. If I ever had a daughter, those are the kind of guys you want to come home and have them come into your home, because, they're going to make your family better too. So just, skill and ability for sure. And they're going to get to work with some great coaches there that are going to get even more out of them than maybe they even know they have within themselves. And Bison fans, you won't always get to know these guys on that personal level, but I'm telling you, these are both the kind of kids you want on any team. They're going to make them better. Go Bison. I can't wait to watch them.
You got to see, obviously, Ryan up close the last couple of years. This year that he had, Jackson, for what he did, obviously for you on football, then to go what he did in wrestling was nearly a state championship, then what he did in track. How impressive was what he just did in 2025?
I mean, incredibly impressive. The fact that he didn't start any of those sports until he was in high school, some not until his sophomore year at all, and I didn't know Ryan as a freshman. He was the baby deer. That's kind of how he was described to me. And so he earned everything he got. Now, to sit here and tell you I'm shocked that it happened, I'm really not shocked that all happened. To me, like, that's the skill and ability, all the hard work, he came back and he talked with our team about visualizing. He visualized himself making it to the state finals in wrestling long before that day actually came. And when he came to the weight room, he was thinking about that stuff, that was a skill set that he talked to our head strength coach, Austin Youngmark, he said how important that was for him to believe he could. He visualized the story is he was getting beat until his last throw at the state shot put tournament. And he had visualized that exact moment, actually, of saying, hey, it comes down to the sixth throw. It's this one. I got to go do it and put up or shut up pretty much. And then that scenario came to life, came to fruition. And then he hits a bomb, wins a state title, and something that he had prepared himself for a long time. So like, it's just the perfect example of like, I wasn't that good at those same skill sets when I was his age, and I'm a coach now and I can sit here and say, hey, Ryan, do this, and it's going to lead to success. What's really hard is to do it, and hold your own self accountable to that. But that just really speaks to who he is. Just how cool. I joked, last thing I'll say on that is one of his former running backs was in the weight room this morning too. And I leaned over and I said, we were looking at Ryan and I said, we literally had a bison on our team, like a literal bison the last 2 years, because he's huge. But he earned all that, man. It's so cool.
I know he committed relatively early. If he had stayed out there, what kind of offers may have come his way?
I don't know. Like there's everybody, they come with their different measurements, like different schools, like, hey, your hand size has got to be this, your shoulders just need to be a little bit wider, this, that, or the other. I think for sure with transferring and everything else, there've been plenty of schools that would have said, hey, if we can get this guy to refill in maybe something we didn't have, those offers might have come. But to be honest, those offers should have been coming right from the get-go. Yeah. I mean this genuinely. The Bison got like a home run diamond. I wouldn't even call it in the rough. I think he's a standout diamond. But he could play at any level of college football. Development still needs to happen for sure. He would tell you the same thing. But where he is, I know it's exactly where he wants to be. He believes in the program. He believes in the culture. He wants to be a part of that tradition that's been there. And I think he has pretty high aspirations for what he could do past college. And he's at a program that has clearly done that and developed kids. And so what a win-win for not just Ryan, but also for NDSU.
I was just looking for your team for 2025, and you still got, I know you got at least a couple more Division I guys on your current roster for this season. The high expectations always come with your team. Describe that of getting ready for this upcoming fall.
Yeah. One thing that's a little different for us, our enrollment went down just a little, and we were kind of the very bottom of the top 32. That's what makes 6A in the state of Minnesota is the 32 biggest schools. And we're like maybe like 37th or something like that. So we're actually going to bump down to 5A and be a little bit of a bigger fish in the pond. That's nice to a degree. That doesn't mean it gets necessarily any easier. No. There's still really good teams all over the place. And so certainly a challenge for us. It'll be new opponents than what we played the last 2 years. But yeah, like Hans Peterson's probably a name that comes to mind when you're talking about just another great talent. He's just committed to go play for Army. He wants to serve his country and play football at a really high level. He wants to get a degree. It's going to be a whole different experience that not a lot of other schools can offer. And so how cool is that too? Another kid that I think he was pretty high on NDSU as well. And, going to go serve our country and play football at the same time. Like, it's just awesome. And so behind his leadership, we got a lot of other seniors, juniors, upcoming talent. We have a lot of talent here in Buffalo. No doubt about that. But I think what I'm most proud of within our town is like, we don't just really care about talent. Like it's blue collar, get your butt to the weight room, doing little things right. Like, we're not just so good that we can just show up and beat anybody. We need to go earn that every single day. And that's kind of how I'm wired. And I like the challenge of that.
Last thing before I let you go, I have to imagine you got to get some good seats here from NDSU now that you coach two separate guys. I mean, you can get the Bison on the horn and say, hey, I want some pretty good seats when you come up to the Dome.
Well, I mean, that would be pretty cool if that, if that could happen for sure. My wife and I, we've already kind of been looking at those schedules for the next few years of just saying, that's got to be a priority and not just going to NDSU, right? We got guys all over the place.
You do.
Concordia, we got guys over at Gustavus Adolphus. We got, I want to continue to follow where our kids go. It's something that's really important to me is not losing contact with our players. And even if they don't go play football, man, like tell me what's going on in life. Yeah. If things are going well, I'll get invited back to some weddings, or I'll get pictures of, hey, here's my new son or my new daughter, or those things like the big life stuff. That's really what I care the most about. Is I want to be in these guys' lives forever. Coach isn't just a 9th through 12th grade experience. It's for life, just like Coach Hubbard or Coach Klunder. A lot of coaches in my life that I think of the same way. So anyways,
well, if that letter is any indication, that's certainly going to be coming your way. I appreciate the time, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck this year. Hopefully we'll talk down the road, okay?
Hey, sounds good. Go Bison.
Jackson Litterer joining us, the head coach of the Buffalo Bison. He's got 2 guys that are up at NDSU now as freshmen that he coached at 2 separate times at 2 separate schools. Really neat story there. We'll break. Apparently, my aggravation was not worth it. We have an update on the Justin Fields toe injury. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns on the other side of the break right after this.